Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, wanted to seek the blessing of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyamsundar, Krishna Ram Bal Gopal, Nrsimhadev, Bhagwan Jagannath, Baladev Subhadra, Ko Nitai Tulsimani, Haridas Thakur, Guru Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So, we continuing with the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto. We are on chapter 58, which is entitled Krishna. No, hang on, wrong one, sorry. I think we wanted a little bit earlier than that. Let me just check. Yes, 56. Chapter 56 is entitled The Shyamantak Jewel. This chapter describes how Lord Krishna recovered the Shyamantak jewel to allay false accusations against him and married the daughters of Jambavan and Satrajit. By enacting the pastimes involving the Shyamantak jewel, the Lord demonstrated the futility of material wealth. So, what was this Shyamantak jewel? When Sukadeva Goswami mentioned that King Satrajit offended Lord Krishna on account of the Shyamantak jewel, and Satrajit tried as best as he could to atone by presenting him with his daughter and the Shyamantak jewel, King Parikshit became curious to hear the details of this incident. Thus Sukadeva Goswami narrated the story. Okay, so let's just want to just go back a touch. Okay. Okay, good. I was just making sure we didn't miss something. Okay. King Satrajit received the Shyamantak gem by the grace of the best well-wisher, the sun god, Surya. After fastening the gem to a chain, which he then hung around his neck, Satrajit traveled to Dwaka. The residents, thinking he was the sun god himself, went to Krishna and told him that Lord Surya had come to take his audience. But Krishna replied that the man who had come was not Surya, but King Satrajit, who looked extremely effulgent because he was wearing the Shyamantak jewel. In Dwaka, Satrajit installed the precious stone on a special altar in his home. Every day the gem produced a large quantity of gold, and it had the additional power of assuring that whenever it was properly worshipped, no calamity could occur. So very powerful jewel, Shyamantak jewel. Suryadev gave it as a gift to Satrajit, who then was in Dwaka. And everybody thought this is the sun god because he was wearing it around his neck. But Krishna knew otherwise. Satrajit entered his opulent home, festively executing auspicious rituals. He had qualified Brahmins install the Shyamantak jewel in the houses, in his home's temple room. Each day the gem would produce 77 kilos of gold. That's a lot of gold. And the place in which it was kept and properly worshipped would be free of calamities. On one occasion, Lord Krishna requested Satrajit to give the gem to the king of the Yadus, Ugrasen. Why did Krishna ask him? Well, usually the best of everything belongs to the king.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Pravin.
I missed yesterday's
Yes.
program. I know. It was my fault. I was resting and then I fall asleep.
Oh, okay, no.
Just now, it's saying about the 77 kilos of the gold
Yes.
in the place in which it was kept. Is this in
Dwarka.
Krishna's home?
No, it's in Satrajit's home in Dwarka. Satrajit is a resident of Dwarka. And he was given this gift
Yeah,
by Suryadev.
yeah.
So he kept the gift, and every day it would produce 77 kilos of gold. So
Oh,
yeah, in his home. So
and then in here it says Satyajit to give the gem to the king of Yadus.
yeah, because Krishna asked him, "Why don't you give this gem to the king?" Right?
All right,
Because the king should own everything, wealth, like wealth-wise, he should own it.
all right, all
So
right.
that's the reason why he said. And the king, of course, he would be very kind. But anyway, let's see what happens. But
Let's go see. All right.
yes,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Because I really want to know it. You are reading, but if I don't know nothing, it's not going to go in my head.
Yes,
All
absolutely.
right. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. But Satrajit refused. He was obsessed as he was with greed. So the reason he refused is he was greedy. I mean, what are you going to do with 77 kilos of gold every day? It's crazy. Anyway, shortly thereafter, Satyajit's brother, Prashena, left the city to hunt on horseback, wearing the Shyamantak jewel on his neck. So his brother took the jewel and he put it on his neck. On the road, a lion killed Prashena and took the jewel away to a mountain cave, where the king of the bears, Jambawan, happened to be living. Now, Jambawan is a very interesting person. He was there present at the time of Lord Ramachandra, and he helped Lord Ramachandra rescue Sita and defeat the demon Ravan. So since then, Jambawan has been living. It's a long time. It's like 1,000,000 years. Anyway, Jambawan, he killed the lion and he gave the jewel to his son to play with. So this jewel, very valuable possession, was taken by the brother of Satrajit, Prasena. Prasena was killed by a lion, and the lion was in turn killed by Jambawan, who took the jewel and gave it to his son to play with. When King Satyajit's brother Prasena did not return, the king presumed that Sri Krishna had killed him for the Shyamantak jewel. Why did he assume that? Because Krishna asked him for the jewel and Satyajit didn't give it. So he was thinking, Krishna has killed my brother to take the jewel. Lord Krishna heard about this rumor circulating amongst the general populace. And to clear his name, he went with some of the citizens to find Prashena. Following his path, they eventually found his body and that of the horse lying on the road. Further on, they saw the body of the lion Jambavat had killed. Lord Krishna told the citizens to remain outside the cave while he went in to investigate. The Lord entered Jambavan's cave and saw the Shyamantak jewel lying next to a child. So Krishna went into the cave, Jambavan's cave, and he saw that jewel. So when Krishna tried to take the jewel, the child's nurse cried out in alarm, bringing Jambavan quickly to the scene. So it's quite a complicated scene. Huh? Unaware of his true position, Jambavan considered Krishna an ordinary man. Now, in his previous time with the Lord, he was with Ram and he served Ram. So he didn't recognize Krishna to be the same Ram. And he began fighting with Krishna. For 28 days continuously, the two fought until finally Jambavan grew weak from the Lord's blows. Now understanding that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jambavan began to praise him. So finally, Jambavan's realized, whoa, after 28 days of fighting with the Lord, this is none other than the Supreme Lord. I know now that you are the life air and sensory, mental, and bodily strength of all living beings. How did he know this? Because Jambavan was very, very strong. Nobody could really beat him, only the Lord. So he's realized this is the Lord. You are Lord Vishnu, the original person, the supreme, all-powerful controller. You are the ultimate creator of all creatures, all creators of the universe. And of everything created, you are the underlying substance. You are the subduer of all subduers, and the Lord and supreme soul of all souls. This is a nice praise. You are he who impelled the ocean to give way. This is Lord Ram now. He remembers Lord, he was there, he was present with Ram personally. You are he who impelled the ocean to give way when his sidelong glances, slightly manifesting his anger, disturbed the crocodiles and fish within the watery depths. You are he who built a great bridge to establish his fame, who burned down the city of Lanka, and whose arrows severed the heads of Ravan, who then fell to the ground. So he's realized this is none other than Ram himself. Very nice prayers. The Lord touched Jambavan with his lotus hand, dispelling his fear, and then explained everything about the jewel which he wanted to recover in order to disprove the false accusations against him. With great devotion and happiness, Jambavan gladly presented the Shyamantak jewel to the Lord. He knew this is none other than Lord Ram. And what a pleasure to give the jewel to his Lord. Anyway, it was the son playing with it. And he also gave his unmarried daughter, Jambavati. Meanwhile, Lord Krishna's companions, having waited 12 days for Krishna to come out of the cave, finally returned to Dwarka, despondent. All of Krishna's friends and family members became extremely sorrowful and began regularly worshipping Goddess Durga to assure the Lord's safe return. Even as they performed this worship, Lord Krishna entered the city in the company of his new wife. He summoned Satyajit to the royal assembly, and after recounting to him the entire story of the Shyamantak jewel's recovery, gave the jewel back to Satyajit. Satyajit accepted the jewel, but with great shame and remorse. He went back to his home. He there pondered over his grievous offense and worried about the possibility of conflict with the Lord's mighty devotees. He decided to offer Lord Krishna not only this jewel, but also his daughter. And his daughter is Satyabhama. Shri Krishna accepted the hand of Satyajit's daughter, Satyabhama, who was endowed with all divine qualities. But Krishna didn't take the jewel. He refused the jewel, returning it to King Satyajit, saying, "You are the sun god's devotee, so let it stay in your possession. Thus we will all enjoy the benefits." So, chapter 57. Satyajit murdered. The jewel returned. This chapter describes how Lord Krishna, after the murder of Satyajit, killed Satyadhyanya and had a crew bring the Shyamantak jewel back to Dwarka. When Lord Sri Krishna heard that the Pandavas had supposedly been burned to death in the palace of luck. He went to Hastinapur with Lord Balaram to fulfill the family's obligations expected of him. Even though being omniscient, he knew the report was false. The two lords met with Bhishma, Kripa, Vidhu, Gandhari, and Drona, showing sorrow equal to theirs. With Krishna out of Dwaka, Akrur and Kritavarma, due to envy, as Satyabhama was married by Satyajit to Krishna, incited Satadhanya to murder Satyajit and steal the Shyamantak jewel. Bewildered by their words, the sinful Satadhanya murdered King Satyajit in his sleep and stole the gem. Queen Satyabhama was overcome with grief after the death of her father. She rushed to Hastinapur to report the sorrowful news to Lord Sri Krishna. Together with Lord Balaram, Krishna then returned to Dwaka to kill Satadhanya and retrieve the jewel. Satadhanya went to Akrur and Kritavarma to beg for help, but when they refused, he left the jewel with Akrur and fled for his life on a horse. Krishna and Balaram pursued him to the outskirts of Mithila, and Lord Krishna beheaded him with a sharp-edged disc. Disappointed, the Lord could not find the Shyamantak jewel on Satyadhanya. When Lord Balaram told him that Satyadhanya must have left it in someone's care, Baladev further suggested that Krishna return to Dwaka to find the jewel, while he, Baladev, would take the opportunity to visit the king of Videha. Thus Lord Balaram travelled to Mithila. The king of Mithila immediately rose from his seat when he saw Lord Balaram approaching. With great love, the king honored the supremely worshipable Lord by offering him elaborate worship as stipulated by scripture injunctions. Balaram remained there for a few days, during which he taught King Duryodhan the art of fighting with a club. Duryodhan was his student. Lord Krishna returned to Dwaka. He had the funeral rites performed for Satyajit. When Akrur and Kritavarma heard how Satyadhanya Dhanva had met his death, they fled Dwaka. This is the same Akrur who came to Mathura, from Mathura to Vrindavan. In Akrur's absence, many kinds of disturbances, mental, physical, and so on, began to afflict Dwaka. And the citizens concluded that the cause of these troubles must be Akrur's exile. The city elders explained, once there was a drought in Banaras, and the king of the region gave his daughter in marriage to Akrur's father, who was visiting Banaras at that time. As a result of this gift, the drought ended. The elders, thinking Akrur had the same power as his father, declared that Akrur should be brought back. Hearing these words from the elders, Lord Janardhan, Krishna, though aware that the absence of Akrur was not the only cause of evil omens, had him summoned back to Dwaka. After properly honoring him with worship and greeting him with sweet words, Krishna told him, I know Satadhanya left the jewel in your care. Since Satyajit has no sons, his daughter's offspring are the just claimants to whatever property he has left behind. Since Satyajit had no sons, his daughter's sons should receive his inheritance. They should pay for memorial offerings of water and pind, clear their grandfather's outstanding debts, and keep the remainder of the inheritance for themselves. Nonetheless, it would be best for you to keep the troublesome jewel in your care. Just let me show it once to my relatives. Akrur, feeling ashamed, presented Krishna with the jewel, which shone as brightly as the sun. And after the Lord had shown it to his family members, thus dispelling the false accusations against him, he returned it to Akrur. This narration, rich with descriptions of the prowess of the Lord, removes sinful reactions and bestows all auspiciousness. Anyone who recites and hears or remembers this narration will drive away his own infamy and sins and attain peace. So that's the end of chapter 57. Any questions? Any comments, please? Interesting story about the Shamantak jewel. And it's still there. It's still possessed by, I believe, the king of Mathura or king of Dwaka or somebody like that. Is still present. That jewel that is still around. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Who was Satavana? Left the jewel in your care.
Satadhanva, he was just a resident of Dwaka. And
right.
Akrur persuaded him to kill Satrajit in order to get the Shyamantak jewel.
Did he get?
Yes.
Here it says left the jewel in your.
Then he left it in the hands of Akrur when he found out Krishna and Balaram were coming after him because he had killed Krishna's father-in-law, Satyadhan.
Yeah, that's right. That,
yes.
I heard that you saying that.
Yes.
Right.
Satyabhama's
father.
Father, yes. Yeah.
See, it's difficult. It's nice to know who was who, but sometimes difficult to remember all these names.
Yeah, it is.
And you say Satyajit had no sons also.
Yes, and he only had the daughter.
Yeah, and that one was married to Krishna.
Exactly. Very good.
Yeah. So, feelings change.
Very good.
So who got the jewel in the end?
Akrur kept it. Krishna asked Akrur, keep it because it's troublesome. It's a difficult jewel. You keep it, he said.
Yeah. And be honest with you, I mean, they say that the jewel, you can never say how much is cost or how much is the value.
Yeah. Very true.
Very true, yeah. Anyway, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If there's nothing else, we can stop there. Thank you so much. Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai.